Monday Night Football, the Seahawks and the Giants battling it out. It was not a pretty sight. Not a pretty sight at all. The Seahawks won 24-3. The Seahawks sacked Daniel Jones a total of 10 times. 11 total sacks on the day, 10 coming from Daniel Jones. It was pretty bad. And they also forced Daniel Jones to commit 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions, and 1 fumble loss. He did fumble another time, but was able to recover it. So 2 total fumbles, 2 interceptions. One was a 97-yard pick six by Devon Witherspoon, who we each had going in the top 10 of our draft picks. So it was a pretty bad game for Dan. He did not look pretty. So I want to know, were you more surprised at the Seahawks dominating defense or the Giants' lack of offense?
Well, it looked a lot like the Dallas game.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the offensive line, a sieve. I don't know how many times he got sacked by Dallas. I think it was 9 times in that game.
Yeah, I
right?
think
and
so.
now he got sacked 10 times in this game. I feel a little bad for him, right? He must be pretty sore. He's getting sacked all the time. And he's looking more like the Daniel Jones that we saw in the first 3 years of his career than last year, and that's unfortunate. I think a lot of it has to do more with the fact that he's not getting any time to throw the ball. And after a while, it just wears on you and affects your psyche, and you make mistakes. And that's what's happened to him. I saw the New York Post had the headline, Danny Dooms, on the cover there. The New York media is going to be really down on him. I don't think it's all his fault, but he has not played well so far this year. His touchdown to interception ratio now, for every 2 touchdowns he throws 6 interceptions. So that's really bad. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I think the Giants, they have a tough schedule, man. They're playing the Dolphins next weekend, I think. Right? I think that's who they're playing. They're going to have their defense is not going to
1 p.m. on Fox.
I don't know. The Dolphins scored 70 points against the Broncos. I doubt the Giants will give up that many, but they're going to have to get some more offense. I mean, they've only scored 3 points at home this season, right? They had 2 games, 3 points scored. That's pretty bad. 8 quarters, and only 3 points scored.
Yeah,
come on, their offense is poor. They need Barkley back badly. They need to get the receiver core going a little bit better there too. I don't know what's happened there. They brought in Waller. They have better talent this year out there, but they don't seem. And actually, Daniel Jones completed most of his passes last night. But you can't throw the interceptions and you can't fumble the ball. Those are the problems he's had in the past, and now they seem to be coming back to haunt him.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. And I'll say this. Yes, I think a lot of people, when it got to maybe, 5, 6 sacks, you start to feel bad for him. Then you get into like the 8, 9, 10 sack range. Yeah, not a good day at the office for Daniel Jones. However, I am not going to be so nice on Daniel Jones. Because what I got all offseason when I was criticizing him, calling him Danny Dink and Dunk, and calling him Danny Drops, people said, oh, he's a top 10 quarterback. Top 10. He has to be in the top 10 list. No, and even when I made my top 10 list, I said Daniel Jones may be 11th, and even people were coming at me saying, after week 1, Daniel Jones will prove this list wrong, and he is in the top 10. Well, I think 40-0 the Cowboys put up on him. Not a great game for anyone on the Dallas or the New York Giants side. Can we all acknowledge something? I think in order to be at least a good quarterback, you have to, as many people think Danny Dimes is, some people even call him great. Some people call him even top 10. Can he perform when the lights are the brightest at some point? He has the worst winning percentage since 1970 in prime time. He is 1-12 in primetime games. He's abysmal. He is absolutely abysmal. And it once again, we're seeing problems that we saw pre-Brian Daboll. A lot of interceptions, fumbling, bad decision-making, and that's what we're getting now. I said that 15 touchdowns, or if people want to include his rushing touchdowns, 22 total touchdowns is not worth $40 million a year. Now, as a joke, yes, I said I wouldn't pay him $15 million a year. He got 40. That's why I'm ripping on him, because he is making $40 million a year. Is he better than Geno Smith? Well, you just saw it last night. No, he isn't. Even when Geno is injured, he's still better than Daniel Jones. Geno's making $25 million a year. So if we're taking a look at Daniel Jones here, I think it's unfair to say that we have to feel bad for him because you know what? He puts himself in the situation. We heard reports all throughout the offseason. He's asking for 42. He's asking for 45. $45 million. He threw 15 touchdowns. If we see something, if we see something absolutely abysmal that we saw in the early part of Daniel Jones' career, and he looks slightly better than that, but he doesn't look great, he doesn't look good, it's still bad. You go from worse to slightly less bad. So we can't put that as a good quarterback or as a top 10 quarterback because we just saw a slightly better version of hot garbage. That's what he is. So, I mean, yes, we could all be upset about his offensive line. However, he actually is 13th in time to throw. We have quarterbacks who perform better with less time to throw. Like, for instance, C.J. Stroud has less time to throw. Jordan Love has less time to throw. Ryan Tannehill, who just played great against the Bengals, he has less time to throw. Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy. And check this out. The second lowest time to throw is Tua Tagovailoa. He's, at least on my list, is the second best quarterback in the NFL. So, and people were also,
number of times have been sacked.
Well, here's the thing. I'll even say this.
I don't think anyone's been sacked as much as Daniel Jones this year.
There is one quarterback that has been sacked more than Daniel Jones, and he's played better. Sam Howell. Sam Howell has performed better than Daniel Jones, and he has 2 more sacks. I'll also say this. We also have to make Daniel Jones accountable for his sacks. His pressure to sack rate, so pressures that end up in sacks, is ranked 4th. So he cannot evade sacks. And even in this game, there were probably 4 or 5 sacks where if he just didn't stay in the pocket, he wouldn't have been sacked. So, and also, people were ripping on Mac Jones. We're going to talk about it later. Ripping on Mac Jones for that fumble because he doesn't have the awareness. The same thing happened to Daniel Jones in this game. Not a single person saying, you have to have the awareness. When you're running outside the pocket, you got to have the awareness that people are going to follow you. I didn't hear a single thing all day.
No, they are calling him Danny Dooms.
Well, that's what was it? The New York Post said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I call him...
A lot of people read the Post.
I call him Danny Dink and Dunk because just like, once again, this year, just like last year, he has one of, if not the lowest average depth of target in the NFL. Last season, he was ranked dead last. This season, he's ranked second to last. So, he's not a good quarterback. He's not good. I mean, Sam Howell, if we talk about bad offensive lines, Sam Howell, who first of all, he was a major question mark playing on, at the time, was an imploding team. We saw, coaches calling out other coaches right before the season starts. Sam Howell has been sacked more, pressured more, and has performed significantly better. He just went toe-to-toe with Philadelphia.
Took him to overtime.
And here's the thing. If they went for 2 at the end of the game, they could have won the game. They could have beaten Philadelphia if they decided to go for 2 on that beautiful throw on the buzzer beater touchdown. So they had their opportunity to beat the Philadelphia, and Sam Howell's getting beaten up to shreds. And he still plays better than Daniel Jones. So, putting him in the top 10, I knew was not a good thing. That's why I didn't put him in. Because if he goes from terrible to slightly less worse, that's still not good. You have a whole mountain to climb. 15 passing touchdowns, 22 total touchdowns. How can that be top 10? On any level, that can't be top 10. So, to have the worst winning percentage. We rip on Kirk Cousins for having horrible primetime games. Daniel Jones is much worse. A .077 winning percentage.
Yeah. 1 in 12.
1 in 12. So, top 10? No, sir. And offensive line, guess what? Geno Smith was hurt. The Seahawks lost 2 offensive linemen in this game. Jamal Adams came back for all of 3 seconds and then ended up getting concussed, unfortunately.
He's hardly played. They say he's been out more games than he's played since he went to Seattle.
This was supposed to be this, I guess, technically was his first game back in 385 days, and he was out for 5 seconds before getting concussed. I will give Daniel Jones this. He could take a beating.
Yeah.
He was getting killed. So
that has to affect your psyche in terms of your decision making. If you know you're getting creamed every other play,
right?
I think that
here's something I found hilarious.
That would affect me. I know that.
Yeah, if you're getting beaten around by 300-pound guys,
right,
wanting to kill you all the time, and I will say
succeeding at it.
I will say this. I think Brian Daboll feels stuck. I think he feels stuck, and this is why the franchise tag was created for moments like this, where guess what? They denied his 5th-year option. They could have franchise tagged him to see if he wasn't a one-hit wonder. And this was Brian Daboll in the middle of the game after that interception. What are you doing, Daniel Jones? And then this is also another clip that went viral. He's showing him on the iPad, hey, we're in the blue jerseys, not the white ones. You can't be throwing it to the white jerseys. And then flips the iPad away. So in my mind, yeah, Brian Daboll feels stuck. Brian Daboll feels very stuck, calling out Daniel Jones. I mean, there's really not much you could do. You signed him for $40 million a year. I think he had $82 million fully guaranteed at signing. I mean, he's made his money and he's going back to the way he used to play. He's regressing before our very eyes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. All these weapons, Darren Waller, Jalen, Hyatt, bring him out there. Paris Campbell's coming in. Sterling Shepard's back. You can't get it to him. I would have franchise tagged him.
Yeah.
But, I'm not, was it Joe Schoen or whatever the GM for the Giants is?
They franchised Saquon Barkley instead.
Yeah. Yeah. And Saquon, like I said in the offseason, Saquon is the reason for this offense. He's the main cog that got this offense going. I don't have the graphic. I have to find the graphic.
So you would have done a bigger deal for Saquon Barkley and franchise tag Daniel Jones.
I would have franchise tagged Daniel Jones and signed Barkley for, let's say, $38 million for 3 years. Because guess what? You'd be paying more over the entirety of Saquon's contract for 1 year of Daniel Jones. You'd have had Saquon for 3 years for less than 1 year of Daniel Jones. I mean, regardless if he's hurt or not, he's cheaper than Daniel Jones and is the main piece of your offense.
That's a good point. A very good point.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.